So we played Learning Factory EDU last time, and the feedback was, look, this is just a game. You're just playing a game. You may or may not learn something, but like,
There were
no.
no such feedback.
Yeah. I mean, but I just wanted to do a nice intro, and that's well, I tried. Okay. Let me be honest. Like, really, what is going on? We're gonna show the non-game part of Learning Factory EDU product. Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay. Take it out from there. You're a student today.
Oh yes, I brought the paper and the pen. How Kate asked.
So she's
I'm
a
fully
producer of the
prepared.
show, but today she's a student.
Ah yes.
George.
El Zorro.
He's from the dev team, and he's also a student today. And Kate is Kate. She wrote whatever we're gonna happen next because that's what she does at Geek Teachers together with Anna. And Kate, I mean, since I'm not allowed to do any good intros here, tell us what's going on, what's gonna happen next.
Yes.
Okay, usually when you're supposed to write a teacher's guide to the lesson, you can't just take a game and let the students play it for the whole timing of the lesson. It just wouldn't work like this. And so obviously, and also it's a huge concern from parents and from teachers too, that if it's a game-based curriculum, that students are going to spend a lot of time at the computer.
Which I would advocate for if I was a kid. Like, I mean, I am told it's gonna be a game-based learning. I come here to play. What's wrong about that?
That's true. But it's not going to work like this because you will
nobody
will
allow
actually
you.
get bored if you. Nobody first will allow you, but it doesn't work like this in schools, because in schools kids come to learn something, right? And if they come to a lesson and the teachers say just play the game, it's not going to work like this because there's no plan.
To be honest, it would work for me.
Can you do it for 10 lessons straight in a row? Can you just come to a lesson and play a game?
So. I mean, like, it's cool. I was going there just to chat with my friends, and like lessons were just secondary thingy.
Yep.
Okay, but we actually had in mind that we want our lesson teacher's guide to be both fun, engaging, and educational. So, and you're saying that only playing the game is fun, but it's not. There are lots of different games where kids could be involved that are not done at the computer, but still fun and engaging. And kids, especially middle school kids, they still love to play, and they are not allowed to play as much at school. Because again, it's all about studies. It's all about learning the process. So playing different activities and interacting, Lira, as you said, with each other is also a nice thing for them to be allowed to do.
So that's what we're gonna do today. So you're gonna show us this.
I'm going to show you an activity from lesson 5, and it's an activity game. Some of you may have played it. It's a board game, and we decided to make our version of an activity, of a very simple activity game where you have to explain different terms to each other. And by lesson 5, students have already learned a few things about the game, about the production, about cats, about stores, about sales, a lot of stuff. And they have come across lots of terms. And we want them to know the terms, to use them, to process them, right? And why this activity is useful is that because while explaining the term, you kind of take it, you get to know it much better. Okay. So what I want from you is to be honest first. Don't cheat. Who's going to be the first to explain?
El Zorro.
Okay, good. So the rest of you have to close your eyes because I'm going to show the term to Jora. Okay. So here's a term for you. Okay. You have about a minute to explain it to the guys. So go.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
The stream too.
No. You can keep your eyes open now.
One of these fellows who produces knowledge and researches stuff.
Scientist.
Correct.
Good. Correct.
I'm so smart.
You are good.
We won.
Yep. Now, guys, boys, you need to close your eyes. Letters next.
Oh my god, I'm so bad at explaining. Oh my god.
That's all right.
Eventually.
That's a word for you.
Okay.
Open your eyes, please.
Open your eyes. So this is the thing that you do to check something if it works or not, for example. Or like
Compiler.
no.
Debugger.
Good guesses.
No.
You're too smart for this game.
Yeah, think like simpler, as simple as you can. Or like when I
Experiment?
don't know. Yes. Oh my god, you're so smart.
What did you say?
He said
Experiment?
experiment.
Experiment. That's correct.
Yes,
Good.
that's right.
That's right. Oleg, would you like to try?
F for you, like F. You failed.
I'm magnificent. You
Let's
just cannot.
bully him, El Joro. Let's bully him.
You just cannot comprehend how
He's
magnificent
the
I am.
worst
That's
student
the
in our
problem.
class. Let's
Okay,
bully
kids,
him.
like silence. I'm the smartest kid on the block now.
Okay,
All
I'm
right.
closing.
So, who's going to try? Jora, are you or
Alegas.
Jora? Then you need to close your eyes too.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
That's a word for you. All right, open your eyes.
Yes,
Yep,
open
sure.
your eyes.
Okay.
So it's always turn now.
That's the dudes from the first question. They reside in this.
That's a good way.
Yes.
Good.
What?
Yes. See, Lara, you are
What
stupid
again?
now.
What was the
That's
word?
a laboratory. All right. Would you like what? Would you like a couple of more terms?
Yes.
Wait,
Okay.
but like, wait. I mean, like, what? Wait. 1 second. Like, what are people watching on right now? And like, why is it part of Learning Factory EDU? And like, what's going on? Like, we are guessing. Like, we're playing the game of guessing words. Why? Like, how is it related to Learning Factory EDU and to learning anything overall? We're just like playing the guess the word game.
That's a very good question. First of all, that's not just a set of words. These are the words that we have taken from all of the lessons by lesson 5, because these are the terms that may not be so familiar to some of the kids. They do not speak about experiments, scientists, laboratory, yarn ball makers, cotton collectors, and stuff like this. So we have taken some of the words that may be unfamiliar to the kids, but by lesson 5, they have already come across them several times. So they should be acquainted with them, right? And why we want them to explain is because we want them to be very to be sure about how to use them. And while explaining, because like, who's a scientist? Oh, everyone knows who's a scientist, right? Who the scientist is. But if you are asked to explain, you're like, all right, okay, how do I do it? Because even grown-ups were stumbled just for a sec, and this is going to happen with kids too. And
there was this genius educator whose name I forgot by now, who said that the best way for memorizing new stuff is explaining that new stuff to someone else.
Exactly, yes.
So it totally makes
plus,
sense.
it's also a very good way for kids to interact. And did you notice while we started playing, by the third word, you all get so excited, like, oh, I want more, I want to discuss, I want to explain.
Yes, and then Alex stopped us from the fun.
Yeah, obviously, because like you were bullying each other like proper kids.
I feel like I was bullying you only. So,
yes, but
that's fine. That's going to happen. But this excitement
it's not fine to bully me.
Good.
I don't like it.
Yeah, let's everybody bully Oleg.
Yes, that's what I don't like it.
No, bullying is not allowed in this classroom. Come on, guys.
Yes,
but
yes.
No, this excitement actually brings a lot of positive emotions to the classroom. It helps kids to relax, because they're shy kids. They're kids who are more knowledgeable than the rest. There are kids who need their 5 minutes of glory, and with this activity, they get to have them. And usually here we're role playing it. In a real classroom, the teacher will act a little bit differently, because the teacher will hand out the cards to all of the students, and then they will play by in turns. Like whoever guesses gets to explain the next word, and that's it. We can
What
also.
is the side of the class? What is the side of the class that can sort of play this game?
The size?
Yeah, the side, like 30 people, 20 people,
No,
15 people.
usually what we're talking about is a computer science class, and usually there are no more than from 12 to 15 students, because that's how many computers a classroom can contain usually. And it's almost impossible to have a computer science class with a group of 30 kids, because it will be a total mess.
And so
But
your teacher's guide is optimized for a class of 10 to 15 people, pretty much. Like, that's, since like it's all scripted, it's all there, like all the narratives, all the games, all the exercises, like the assumption is 10 people, 15 people.
10 to 15 people, yeah, because if we're dividing the class, we usually mention that it's going to be 2 or 3 groups of 5 or 4, of 3 to 5 students, because that's how it's going to work. Usually I had experience with computer science teachers with bigger groups, but then most of the activities are not going to be conducted.
Do you think Learning Factory EDU can be played in a remote class?
We already discussed it.
Yeah, we have just did it. We haven't written the teacher's guide with this perspective, because we are hoping it's going to be an offline classroom. But it's possible to adapt the activities as I did, to a virtual classroom, and it's still going to be as fun as we want it to be. Some of the things.
Can we continue?
Would you like
Please.
a different game? Would you like it?
No,
this one. This one.
One more word. One more word.
One more word.
You look so bored. So like, yes, you're gonna tell the word.
Explain.
He just came back from vacations. He's still like
Who, me?
mentally.
Yes, you will explain the word. Okay, Alex,
Word.
close the eyes.
Yeah, see,
All right, let's go.
Lena got the idea. Okay, that's a word for you?
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
what's the word?
Wow, that's a hard one. So there is this
A
thing,
cat.
there is this thing with a mechanical claw who takes stuff from a conveyor belt
Excavator.
and places it to some other place. And here we will find out.
Robotikarn.
Yeah, here we will find out who of you guys have actually played the game. Another way of using this word is what you call someone who uses other people to make stuff.
Manipulator.
Manipulator.
Yes, correct.
See? You're
You see,
grown-ups.
even your attempt to ruin it all has failed. Okay.
That's actually from Learning Factory term, because there's a thing
Okay.
that takes the stuff from places and puts it into different places. But yeah,
Oh.
Manipulator.
manipulator.
Oh
That's
my
a good
god,
word.
that was even complicated for us. So like, I think it's very interesting. Even would be for kids also.
But
Yeah, but Kate, one more thing. I mean, like, we are guessing the words. Like, is it like the same game? And like, that's from the lesson 5, right? Like, but is it the same game from lesson like 1, 2, 3, or like the worst
No.
game?
No. Yeah, what I'm thinking is that you can't play one game for a series of lessons. It's not fun. You need to. The activities should be diverse, because but this one actually kids are going to like, and they will probably ask the teacher to play it one
Yes.
more time, maybe a bit later. But this is the reason this game is in lesson 5 is that because lesson 5 is somewhat a milestone, because by this time they have mastered the basics of production. And at this, it's not a typical lesson. It's a summary of the 4 previous lessons, where they have to build a factory, showing what they have learned. And this game that we have just played is an intro to this activity, to this game-based activity. And it's not going to last for 15 or 20 minutes. Of course not. It's the timing for this is 5 to 7 to 8 minutes, no more, because it has to be dynamic. It has to be just a warm up for them to get this energy to say, oh yeah, we're ready to build a factory. Oh, we have learned so much. Look, I have explained this difficult term to my fellows. Oh, look how smart I am. That's the main idea for this game. It's not going to last for the whole lesson, of course, and it's not going to happen
What are
every
other
lesson.
games?
All
What are
right.
other games?
The one that I'm going to show it probably is not as fun, but what I'm thinking, what I was thinking is to show you the game from lesson 7 when we're talking about the big data. And it's a very abstract concept, what, like no one it's hard to understand what big data really is. And so I wanted to come up with a way to visualize it. Yeah, like how big is it, right? And so what I want you to do, again, by lesson 7, the teacher, makes a little intro. He or she says that by this lesson, look, we know so much about factory, about cats, about stores, about sales, again, about production, about lots of stuff. And these pieces of knowledge, all add up to make big data. And so I want you to take a piece of paper and write 1 or 2 facts, each fact on a single piece of paper, about a game that you know, about the lesson. Yep, all of you, yep. And so write them down. And again, we're doing it online, so the dynamics is going to be a little bit different.
I'm ready. What about you two?
Now I will ask you to put. Can you just role play putting your yep. I'm trying to catch that.
Here you go.
Oh, thank you, girl. Thank you. It's there, Lera. It's there. Oli, yep. Sure. Okay. So look, I'm collecting all the pieces. Yep. I'm collecting all the pieces from the students. These are the facts that we have learned, from. I'm sorry, I need to probably move a little bit further. These are the facts. These are the pieces of knowledge that we already know. And that's a simple way to visualize what big data is. But I have a question. Do you think it's big enough?
No.
Okay. How many boxes like this would constitute for big data?
I think as many as in Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark scene, remember that last scene from the warehouse where there's this huge warehouse of boxes and boxes and boxes and
yeah.
Good
all
catch.
the boxes,
I like
all
that.
the boxes in the world, I think.
And then I can randomly collect a piece of information and just read it out. For example, Oli, what have you written? Can you read it aloud?
Yes, I can.
Oh, you have thrown away your piece of paper. It was in the box, right? There's a cat.
There's named after Lera and me.
That's true.
That's a good fact. But
At least,
it may seem silly to you that I have taken this old box, in pieces of paper. But when Jora started to explain how many boxes we need to actually imagine big data, we have this vision of this concept in our mind, and we understand that this is how much info we need. This is how many pieces of paper we need to write, to use to actually collect this big data. And again, we're talking about kids who are 10 to 13, 15, 14 years old. And such concepts may be too abstract for them, if we're talking about big data, how big should it be? And with this activity, we made a little step to a better understanding, what are we doing? And it's good that we have taken things that they already know about, paper, boxes, warehouses. We're using the concepts that already familiar to them.
So look, like the structure of the lessons is that teacher engages with kids for bigger part of the lesson and plays some games using pen and papers, and they ideate and then talk, and then they actually play the game. And that's for all 10 lessons that we have prepared. Like for all these lesson plans, in each plan, big part of the game is like play some words, throw a paper into the bin, or how does it work?
It depends on the lesson itself. If it's a difficult topic, if it's something that they need to be really focused on, they need to be concentrated, there's not so much gaming. It could be the work with the whole classroom where the teacher engages them in a conversation. It could be pair or group work where they have to, for example, there's a lesson when they have to draw plans for their factories using some special schemes, and they are interacted in a group of 2 to 3 students, for example. There are things where they need to think for themselves when they need to write, for example, a plan for their experiment. There are games, if it's possible, because sometimes we need something to relax. We need to this game to relieve all the energy, to make them feel more comfortable. So it's all different. The only idea that lies behind it is that we have a certain plan and we have a certain idea in our head that we want the kids to come to by lesson 10, and this is what we're leading to, and
Wait,
using
but
all
like,
the
can you spoil
materials.
it? Can you spoil it?
What's
Like,
the
what are we
idea?
what are
Yeah,
we learning?
like-
What are kids learning?
I think Jura needs to do it.
Well, if I may summarize this whole point,
Yes.
at least as I understand it, so the game itself and the Learning Factory EDU as a game, as a runnable file, it's a central piece of the whole process, but the things going on in the class are so much bigger than that. And there are lots of activities and lots of discussions and lots of side actions,
Yeah, but what are they
games.
coming to in the end?
Yeah,
That's what
what's
the
the
question.
goal? What's the goal?
What's the goal?
Where do
Where
they
are
go?
they
The goal-
going to?
The
What are
goal
they
is
doing?
the goal is, of course, inventing a catisfaction device, which will help us to understand how cats' minds work. At least start understanding it, and then moving forward to the next frontier of knowledge.
Exactly.
That's so cool. That's so
They're
cool.
building a core of the satisfaction device, and
Yeah.
by lesson 10 they will by lesson 10 they have it ready.
Yeah, we need to gather lots of data to understand cats.
Mhm.
So, and we need to be gathering all those big data, and we will be needing to
Data?
filling all those boxes. Yes, all those boxes. So this and how this whole things work and how computers can help us with that and how they can improve our understanding of things. This is what Learning Factory in general and Learning Factory EDU in particular are all about.
So teachers
yeah.
and parents can be happy that the kids will not just play the game; they will also learn a lot.
About
I-
cats
Exactly.
I
on
think so.
Mars.
And actually as a bonus, they will they will have this understanding of how machine learning works. In very simple terms, the basics of it, not just difficult math or anything like this, but this concept of what we need to do to make a machine, device that can predict data. That's what they get by the end of this whole course, and which is pretty good for
That's so
for
cool.
middle school students. Yeah.
So let's just let me try to be super inspirational. So
Talking to your microphone better.
I tried.
Yep.
No, really. Like, so you're watching this video, this podcast, and thinking, oh, they're doing something cool. But like, yes, but like you can do
Yes.
it too. You go, you download this lesson plans, you play this with your kids, you bring this to your school. These are free. You can just do it. Or if you want, you can go on Steam and buy your kid Learning Factory game and like let them be and
Or
just
play by
learn
yourself.
by
It's
playing
not
the
just
game. Yeah, like get
it's
rid
not
of your kid.
Get rid of your kid and
for
play
a
the
week
game.
and like come back in a week and like your kid has learned something. Or if you want to talk to these smart people like this, we are in Discord along with the developers of Learning Factory and other people. Also, perhaps scroll down and up and look sites. Probably you will see other recording of the podcast where we talk to other smart people. We talk to Kate a lot, who has written the lesson plans along with Anna, and there is lots of context. Like click around, there would be something useful for you to learn more about what we're doing.
Yeah.
Did my pitch work?
Very, very nice, very nice. So it's time to
Very
say
inspirational.
thank you to Kate because you're super cool. You bring a lot of values to us. Yes. Oh my God. Okay. Let's say goodbye to everybody.
It was fun. Thank you. You're wonderful students.